Happy holidays, everyone. Welcome to our coverage of the NBA on 2K Sports. Alongside Hall of Famer Grant Hill and Coach Stan Van Gundy, this is Brian Anderson. Allie LaForce joins us from the sidelines. As we get deeper into the season, the Eastern Conference standings are really taking shape. Let's take a look. You take a look at the Celtics. They're currently holding on to the third best record in the conference.
Well, for the Celtics, I think they're the team you dread having to play. I mean, they've been performing at just about their best in every game so far this season.
Well, if you're able to strike fear into your opponent before even stepping on the floor, you're doing something right.
Looking at the starting five for Boston. White and Brown are the wingmen. Then there's Peyton Pritchard, and it's Walsh in at the 4. And for the Jazz, Vladislav Mikhailuk is out there with Keontae George. Then it's Bailey, then it's Lauri Markkanen, and it's Nurkic in at the 5, roaming the paint. Well, Stan, I know you love the numbers. What they're telling us tonight, these teams can shoot it.
Yeah, it's two of the best in the league from beyond the arc. They've got great spacing, and I like that they're always looking for a better shot on the perimeter.
Here's Mikhailuk. He's guarded by White. George outside. Pass to Nurkic. Kicks it out to Markkanen for 3. It's rebounded by Walsh. All right, let's get a report from Allie.
Well, the head coach for the Jazz gave me a few minutes to catch up with him. Right away, we got to talking about Jaylen Brown, and he said he's going to make trouble for us, but with strong coverage and fast rotations, I think we'll do a good job limiting his production. Some confident words from Coach on how they'll slow down Brown's output tonight. Back to you, B.A.
And Allie, thanks. About a minute into this first quarter. And here's White. And he's been a big part of their offense, averaging more than 18 points a game. 6 on the shot clock. Inside, Tatum. Oh, and that one, no question, powered it down.
Well, that's what White's out there to do. Share the ball and make everybody better.
Markkanen with a screen on Pritchard. And Markkanen with the stuff.
Great pass to hit him in stride. Love to see teammates in sync with each other.
For Boston, they've gone 1 for 3 so far. And the Jazz haven't been past the second round since 2007. Now trying to build a contender.
Well, B.A., they know in the West that's a tall order. They got to be patient and build this thing from the ground up.
He's now 1 for 2 with that bucket.
Well, you got to know the scouting report on Brown. He's solid cashing in from the mid-range.
Pass to Mikhailuk. And here's Nurkic. Here's George, defended by Pritchard. And George gets it to go on the assist from Nurkic.
And that's what they want to do. Get him open looks early.
Outside White. And here in the first, approaching 3 minutes played. Here's Brown. So it'll be 2 free throws. He was fouled in the act of shooting. Grant, the thing about Jaylen Brown, he doesn't need a lot of space to get his shot off.
You know, B.A., he has a quick release and rises high on his jumper. Has a great up fake and can stop on a dime. Usually all the space he needs to find his shot.
Free throw good. Brown. Stan, one thing about Jaylen Brown, he seems so composed out there.
Yeah, B.A., he's very calm. Doesn't waste energy. You love a player who's this focused and calculated.
Here's what Boston's going with right now. Tillman's checked in for Queta. Hauser comes in for Walsh. And Simon has subbed in for Pritchard.
And when you talk about Jaylen Brown, you have to bring up his two-way ability. He's a pure scorer who can also guard the opposing best wing. There aren't a lot of guys like Brown in the league.
Now here's Markkanen. What a tremendous game he played against San Antonio. And there's a foul. It's on Sam Hauser. That's his first foul of the game.
And yeah, he still was moving at the point of contact.
A different look for Utah. Sensabaugh is checked in for Bailey. And it's Collier in for Mikhailuk. Boston also changing it up. Boucher's checked in for Jaylen Brown. Shireman comes in for Derek White. Now here's George. Last game, he had 28 points. Offline with a 3. For Boston, they've gone just 2 for 4 from the floor. Here's Simons, and he goes strong with the one-handed jam.
Wow, fancy stuff from Anthony Simons.
There's 47 seconds left in the first quarter here. Here's Collier, taking a look at his production, averaging just over 8 points a game. Seems like this offense is being executed the way it was designed.
Yeah, I'm sure Coach couldn't be happier with the results.
Well, there's Markkanen putting his 7-foot frame to use with the block.
"11 seconds left to play in the first quarter. 5 to shoot. Back to George. Great D that time from Simons. 1 quarter in the books, and it's been a close one. Celtics out in front. They're up by 1. We'll take a quick break and then get you back to the action. And we hope you're enjoying the game. Both teams tonight keeping things pretty even on the scoreboard so far. And for Boston guys, what jumps out to you stat-wise?
You know, they've been relentless in how they attack the paint.
Well, if they're going to be that ferocious inside, this defense is in for a long night.
On the court for the Celtics, second quarter underway. We've got Chris Boucher. Peyton Pritchard is out there with Anthony Simons. Then it's Sam Hauser, and it's Tillman in at the 5.
shot.
And that one misses. Coach, I've heard you say one of the most frustrating things to watch is a team that beats itself.
Yeah, B.A., I think one of the things is before you can win, you got to make sure you don't lose. And when you're doing things like turning the ball over or fouling needlessly, those are probably the 2 biggest areas. Those are beat-yourself types of stats, and it's hard to get away with those at the highest level.
Time now to hear from our reporter, Allie LaForce.
Hey, well, the Celtics have a great 1-2 punch with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Tatum said JV always starts the game really aggressive. I'm a naturally laid-back guy. I kind of see things out first, and then I can essentially take over when I need to. We have found that balance. Back to you.
A dangerous duo. All right, Allie, appreciate the report. Celtics trail by 3. And we played just over a minute of basketball in the second quarter. Outside Pritchard, back to Simons. Play clock, the Celtics got to hurry here. Pritchard, no good. Jazz leading by 3. There's no question. Peyton Pritchard has one of the best value contracts in the league.
Sure does, B.A. He's on a 4-year, $30 million deal, signed back in 2023. He's a tireless worker, a talented scorer, playmaker, and, of course, outside shooter.
Shibwe misses. Now here's Pritchard. Defense is right there. Simons passes to Pritchard. Nice ball movement by Boston. Simons with it. Oh, are you kidding me?
My goodness.
And he goes in for the dunk.
Wow, it's like Simons has it on a string.
And so Will Hardy calls the timeout. A moment to rest and confer on the game plan. with a new group. So Boston going with almost an entirely new group here. Cadis checked in for Tillman. Minot comes in for Boucher. Brown, he's checked in for Hauser. And it's White in for Simons. 1:57 left in the first half of this one. Pass to Mikhailuk. Back to George. Markkanen right side. The Jazz again can't hit.
Yeah, well, that's a shot the defense is probably going to let him keep taking.
All right, we've now got our 2K insider, Shams Charania, on the line. He's got a special report. Shams, it's all yours.
Well, thanks. The Celtics this summer trading Drew Holiday for Anthony Simons. They're almost a decade younger. Simons' deep threat capability is definitely a fit for the way the Boston Celtics like to play, especially now moving forward. He can fit in defensively. He could be a long-term contributor, guys.
He's more than capable. Okay, Shams, thank you. White on the wing. Outside, Brown. Outside, Pritchard. They set a pick. Pass to Queta. Goes back up. And he takes it up and lays it in. Queta's gotten his second bucket of the game.
And defensively, that's just not going to cut it.
Down Nurkic. And here's Markkanen. George outside. Here's Mikhailuk. Shot clock at 5. The shot. It's hauled in by White.
He expects to make every one of those, and we expect him to make them too.
Left side, Brown. Brown going to work.
Hey, they're just getting pushed around inside.
George against Pritchard. Tries again. He's off on that one. And we're through the first half of play here in what's been a good one. Boston out in front. They lead by 3. And time now for the halftime break with the third quarter soon to follow on 2K Sports.
Thanks for tuning in. Did you miss us? Before we discuss the game at hand, let's first check out the upcoming schedule.
And for their matchup with the Clippers, this looks like a complete toss-up to me. Talent level is similar. These games often come down to a few key plays.
And if that's the case, we'll see who has the better closers tonight. Let's shift focus back to the Utah Jazz, who find little separation after one half of play.
This game won't stay close. They continue to shoot under 40%. Move the ball, man. Create high-quality looks.
They also miss some shots they normally make, so there's that.
And that's a wrap on halftime. Thanks for watching as we send you back to BA to call the second half.
Through this one. Plenty of basketball left in a game that's been a fairly even one. Wow, it's been quite a game for Jaylen Brown.
You know, I'm not really sure what defenders can do to slow him down. He's just too skilled.
Well, he's a problem, no doubt about it. One that opposing teams have to grapple with every time he takes the court.
We've got Bailey. Yusuf Nurkic is out there with Lauri Markkanen. Then there's Keontae George. And it's Mikhailuk in at the 2. And that's the group for Will Hardy as we begin the second half. Celtics lead by 3. It's Brown on the wing. Brown gets the inside finish.
There's some power to JB's game. He can simply go through contact.
And here's George. He'll bring it up for Utah. And a contract extension this summer for Jazz head coach Will Hardy.
Well, one of the youngest head coaches in the league. He has the respect of all of the other head coaches. He's part of that Spurs coaching tree, and his extension runs through 2031, which is a nice commitment from the Jazz.
An impressive display. How about that look on the AT&T connected cam? Marking it outside. Launches it, and George with the basket on the assist by Markkanen. George has got his second basket of the night.
And there's a nice rhythm to his three-point shot. You know, George has a confident stroke.
Oh, he goes right over Yusuf Nurkic, slams it down.
And this kind of sick slam is just one of the reasons this team is in charge of this game right now, B.A.
You know, there's an edge the way they play and a confidence they're not afraid to show. And so it's Utah with it after the basket by Boston. Pass to Markkanen. Let's go with a three. Offensive rebound. Celtics lead by 6. Kick out to Brown. Outside White. Here's Keita. It's rebounded by George.
Their first missed after hitting 3 straight shots, but I like their aggressiveness coming out of the half.
Here's Mikhailuk. He's scoreless. Markkanen with a screen on Pritchard. Shot clock at 6. Here's George. Uses the glass on the layup.
Just a gutsy play by George inside, finding the close-range look.
Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with Allie LaForce.
Thanks a lot, guys. Jaylen Brown is rounding out his game in all facets. He said, I've definitely worked on my playmaking, just being able to see the floor, making great reads, creating for my teammates, and putting pressure on the defense. Brian, back to you.
Allie, thanks for the report. And last season, Grant, the sale of the Celtics franchise for $6.1 billion. It seemed like a lot at the time.
Well, yeah, that was until the Lakers sale hit 11 digits last summer, B.A. But in both cases, basketball decision-making doesn't change right away. In the case of the Celtics, the governorship doesn't transfer until 2028.
That free throw, no good. And some tough salary decisions this summer for the Boston Celtics coach.
Well, in one way, it's a good problem to have, possessing too much talent. But with this new CBA, it's harder to retain everybody like we saw with Celtics teams of old.
Filipowski, he's checked in for Markkanen. And he's good on the second. And over the 5 decades of the Jazz franchise history, almost half of those years, they were coached by the great Jerry Sloan.
Well, the Jazz were a team that took on Jerry Sloan's toughness and a willingness to fight at all times. Those days are in the past, but they still echo in Utah.
Hauser outside. Back to Brown. It's stolen by Nurkic. Down low. Here's Filipowski. Lays it up and in off the pretty assist. And it's now just a 1-point Celtic lead.
Assertive move. You can tell the game's heating up a bit.
Second half of play, and we're 3 minutes into the third here. George against Pritchard. Outside, Brown. Back to Pritchard. George with a steal. Pass to Bailey. Now here's Filipowski. Mikhailuk. The pass to Nurkic. For the lead. Back to Mikhailuk. Here's Filipowski. Fades. Here's Nurkic. And Nurkic throws it down.
And for Nurkic, one of his key attributes, the ability to keep the play alive on the glass.
Now here's Brown. And they call an illegal screen here.
Well, that one stings. In a game where every possession counts, he just gave one away.
George, a deep three. No good. Misses at the buzzer. We're at the end of the third quarter, and we've still got a close one. Utah ahead, up 1. And don't go away. We'll be back in a few moments. It'll be the fourth quarter of basketball coming up next. All right, let's take a look at our assist of the game presented by State Farm.
Yeah, just shredding the defense with that feed. Zero chance to stop that.
Now that is an elite level dish. What a great pass.
And with 3 quarters behind us, we'll start the fourth in what is still anybody's ball game. And a look at the 5 for the Celtics to start the fourth quarter. We've got Anthony Simons, Sam Hauser out there with Chris Boucher. Then there's Peyton Pritchard, and it's Garza in at the 5 spot. And finished off by Boucher.
Well, you see the development of Simons, reading the game better.
Here's Collier. And he's going for the oop. Markkanen hammers home the lob.
Markkanen showing his athleticism, soaring to hammer home the alley-oop.
Now Pritchard. Pass to Boucher. And here's Simons. Clock at 6. It's hauled in by Sensabaugh. Utah leading. Markkanen with a screen on Pritchard. He's off from 3. And for Boston, they're shooting around 53%, a nice number. Boucher on the screen. Simons fires. The 3 is off. The Jazz shooting the ball at 46% from the floor. Here's Collier, covered by Boucher. Here's Sensabaugh. He launches. Markkanen outside. Fires the 3. Cleared away by Simons. And so Simons will bring it up for the Celtics. A great fourth quarter, just giving up 2 points. Outside Boucher. And that one goes out of bounds. Last touch by Simons.
What a costly turnover. Those are the ones that keep you up at night.
And we've got a timeout called by Will Hardy. No doubt he's going to utilize the opportunity to make sure they're all on the same page here. So Utah going with an almost entire new group here. Nurkic is checked in for Filipowski. Bailey comes in for Hendricks. Mikhailuk's checked in for Sensabaugh. And it's George in for Collier. So Boston going with almost an entirely new group here. Tatus checked in for Garza. Walsh comes in for Boucher. Brown, he's checked in for Hauser. And Derek White subbed in for Simon. A chance here to catch up with Allie from the sideline.
Over that last break, I got a chance to hear what Will Hardy said to the team. He was pumping them up, saying those guys had no idea what they were in for tonight. We've come this far, don't let up now. And guys, he's going to be stoking the fire until the win is in the books.
Allie, thank you. Celtics trail by 3. Outside, Brown. A minute 20 left in the fourth quarter. White outside. And there's a pick. Puts up a deep 3. Extra points. Crucial second chance bucket.
Well, his rebounding is such a boost for this team, especially when it comes on the offensive end.
55 seconds left in the game. Nice touch inside there from Markkanen.
There is absolutely no fear in his eyes. He loves the moment.
Yeah, and I can say from experience, his coach just breathed a huge sigh of relief.
And here's Pritchard. Brown. Nurkic with a rebound.
Great contest of the shot. Kind of forced him to fade back more than he'd like.
Markkanen looking it over. 6 to shoot. George outside. Oh, the long ball, no good. So it's Boston now. So far in the fourth, they've allowed just 6 points. Here's White. To tie it up. Oh, off target from downtown. And they commit an intentional foul. We'll see another one of those, so they get into the penalty.
Yeah, no, you had to do that. I mean, you can't allow them to dribble out the time.
And we've got a timeout called by Will Hardy. And a great call on his part. This is the time you want to be in sync right here. And now they decide to foul intentionally.
Second personal foul. Second team foul. At the line for 2, George.
He gets the first, and that gives him a 4-point cushion. So he goes 2 for 2 at the line, and it's a 5-point game.
And that'll just about do it. Coming through at the line in a big spot.
So we see Utah get the win here. I'm sure they would have preferred a blowout victory, but a win's a win.
And so true, but you have to credit the crowd for giving them such a big boost toward the end. It really kept this team's energy high.
Well, now we have some time to check in with Allie LaForce. Allie.
Lori, an impressive win tonight. What do victories like this tell you about where this team is headed?
It gives us confidence. We showed that if we play well and we play defense now with stretch, we can beat. And we've shown it. We can compete with anybody. We just got to do it for a full game.
Confidence is key down the stretch. Thanks, Lori.
Allie, thank you as always. And that's going to do it tonight, folks, for our broadcast. For Grant Hill, Stan Van Gundy, and Allie LaForce, this is Brian Anderson signing off. So long, everybody.